Well, that is going to sum it up for today's video on your Thanksgiving forecast with severe weather possible by next week. Again, we are keeping an eye on that forecast for day 7 as we get more details on that. We could see damaging winds, some minor hail, and maybe a tornado or two. But again, it is too far to say to iron out the exact details. All you need to be worried about right now is getting to your destination for Thanksgiving and going out for Black Friday shopping. Everybody's going to be out there doing it since we have had the inflation. That's going to do it with this weather forecast. I am David Schlotthauer, and I will see you back here in a couple of days for more weather updates. Good morning, good afternoon. It is David Schlotthauer, and welcome back to another detailed weather forecast for November 23rd, 2022. In today's weather forecast, we are keeping an eye on a few weather systems that are going to be moving across the country. Could bring heavy snowfall, strong winds, and yes, a slight risk for severe weather on day 7 for the Deep South and for the High Plains. Also, if you are new to the YouTube channel and you like the detailed weather content, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing this video with your family and friends on social media. And also, be sure to check out our Weather Force Discord server. There's a link in the description below this video. Also, one quick thing to note, I do have a little bit of a minor cold that I'm getting over with, so if you notice, I might have a little bit of a raspy voice from time to time in this video. So here's a look at your Thanksgiving forecast for Thursday, November 24th, 2022, and we can see right here is where we're going to have the most interesting weather. If you say interesting at all, we're looking at some wet roadways. So if you're headed out early in the morning, finishing up your road travel to your friend's house, to your parents' house, or just visiting family in general at home, just be aware it's going to be raining. There might be some breezy winds out of that system over the Deep South, but otherwise most of the country is looking pretty quiet for your Thursday. Nothing getting in the way, which is good for the first time in a while. I remember previous Thanksgivings would be really rough because of the weather pattern, but the good news is we're not seeing any rough weather at all. By Thursday afternoon, this is what it's looking like. Showers and thunderstorms for the Deep South, maybe a little bit of snowfall there for portions of New Mexico, but otherwise really quiet. And then of course, by the time we go into, say, Saturday, this is where we do have a little bit of the rainfall and snowfall, part of another weather system that is going to be developing, and this is going to be the next one that's going to be impacting the Northeast. Actually, this one's impacting the Northeast, and another one is going to be moving in that general direction by the latter part of the weekend, November 26th and the 27th. So if you are in, say, the Deep South, like Alabama, if you are in portions of Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, as well as Missouri, Indiana, if you are in Illinois and Ohio, you're going to be seeing some inclement weather, some stormy weather, wind, rainfall, that sort of deal. And then another system impacting the Pacific Northwest by Sunday into Monday. This is going to be a colder system, going to usher in much colder Arctic air. So lower snow levels for Washington and Oregon, for Idaho and Montana. That's going to be the next system that could bring us severe weather by the middle of next week. Now, it is pretty far out, so I want to really emphasize, you may hear this from other weather YouTubers that, oh, we're going to be looking at a massive, major, monstrous type severe weather event. I am not confident that that's going to happen. We're going to see some sort of severe weather, but I don't think it's going to be kaplooey. It's going to be out of control. So just make sure you're careful with which channel you watch on YouTube, because some of them may hype this up. Some are not going to hype it up like me. And so therefore, I'm only expecting probably a marginal to slight risk at the very most of severe weather. In fact, if we take a look here at our severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for day 7 on for next week, this is ending for on Tuesday and a Wednesday, we have a little bit of a slight risk for severe weather. Now, I want to emphasize this also. Just because we do have a slight risk for severe weather over this area at day 7 does not mean we're going to see a moderate or high risk at day 1 or 2. This just means there is enough good confidence among most of the models that we're going to have some sort of a severe weather day issued here for Oklahoma, for northeastern Texas, as well as Arkansas and northwestern Louisiana. But I really want to emphasize this does not mean we're going to see a major tornado outbreak of any sorts, okay? This just means confidence is fairly high at day 7 that there is going to be some sort of a severe weather event. Nothing particularly strong. So there's a look at the severe weather concerns that we have here over Texas, over Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. Again, for Tuesday afternoon into early Wednesday is the best chances that we are going to see a little bit of severe weather like we mentioned on the day 7 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. So again, even so it's a slight risk for severe weather, it does not mean it's going to be a moderate or high risk closer in. I've seen this a lot of times where it stays slight all the way until day 1. Okay, even so it's a day 7 slight risk. And there have been times where it's a day 7 slight risk and then it becomes like a day 5 30% chance for severe weather. It just all depends on the setup, the time of the year, and how consistent are the models. It's all about consistency and coverage. I want you all to understand that. Okay, so snowfall for the northern tier of the United States, part of this weather system for next Tuesday and Wednesday. That moves into the northeast, bringing showers and thunderstorms, some gusty winds, some colder temperatures in the wake of that. You can take note of all the cooler air over the Great Lakes. Another winter storm impacting the Pacific Northwest by Thursday, the first day of December. Believe it or not, it's going to get kind of ugly. And then more snow and gusty winds in Nevada and California, and continuing over kind of the central western portion of the U.S., such as the Central Rockies and the High Desert, the Great Basin, all the way through Saturday. And then then it kind of gets stretched. It gets stretched thin by December 5th, but that's too far out in time, right, on the models. So that's a look at your quick forecast. Now I want to take a look at the ensemble temperatures from the European, because things are for sure going to get pretty chilly out there. So, excuse me. So here's a look at your temperature anomaly forecast. Then we're going to roll down exactly what your daytime highs and lows will be over the next 7 days. So for Wednesday afternoon, this is tomorrow afternoon, most of the ensembles on the European side of things do indicate that temperatures will be below average for portions of the Great Basin, above average for the northern tier of the United States, and then going forward out to day 5, going to be cooling off, it looks like, for the Pacific Northwest, for California, and even for portions there of the desert Southwest by November the 27th. And then by, say, by early to the middle of next week, the pattern really changes. Most of the ensembles here of the European forecast do indicate that temperatures will be well below average for California, for Montana, for Wyoming. If you're in Washington and Oregon, well below average temperatures are anticipated, with well above average temperatures across the Great Lakes and the Deep South. You really have not had a fair share of winter. You've been seeing well below average temperatures, then it shifts to above average, then below, then above. You've just been kind of roller coaster kind of weather back east, but it's been kind of cold here back west for quite some time. This is going to continue all the way until Friday, December the 1st. Well below average temperatures do continue for California. That's not going to let go at all anytime soon beyond the 10-day forecast. We're still looking at below average temperatures across the west, cooling off a little bit for the Great Lakes out to December the 6th. So now to my favorite part of this video, we are going to be taking a look at your air temperature forecast. I know this might be a little small. I do apologize by that, but this is the best we're going to do. So we can see your daytime high temperatures for this afternoon. Going to be quite warm if you're in Florida. The day before Thanksgiving, we're talking about low to mid 70s, some low 80s for Miami. If you are in northern tier of the United States, we're looking at temperatures that are going to be in the upper 30s to lower 40s. If you're back west like Seattle, right around 50 degrees. San Francisco about 68 degrees during the day, quite warm for the city. And then if you're back towards New York, going to see some mild temperatures there at about 55 degrees for your Wednesday. For overnight lows, going to be pretty chilly, so bundle up in the morning if you're doing any road travel. If you're out and about doing any early shopping for Thanksgiving, just be aware it is going to be pretty chilly. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s across New England. Temperatures across the Rockies, definitely in the teens, upper or lower 20s, I should say. And then in the northern tier of the United States, we're talking about temperatures that are going to be in the low to mid 20s. Now, if you're back west like me in San Francisco and Sacramento, it's going to be about 39 to 45 degrees in the morning. So yeah, make sure you have you're dressed up in layers, because it's going to be chilly, unless you're in Florida, where you don't need to worry about a coat or jacket because it's going to be pretty warm. Things continue to be chilly. Actually, a cool down looks to be in store for the northern tier of the United States by Thursday, and this continues all the way into, say, Friday morning, where it's going to get colder, and then by, say, Friday afternoon, temperatures do warm up a little bit more. Look at that, 62 degrees for Rapid City. Could get up to about 35 degrees for Minneapolis. If you are in the New England coast, could be fairly mild. Not much change with the forecast. If you're in California, though, we're going to be seeing temperatures close to 70 degrees. So very warm for Black Friday shoppers. And then temperatures really nudge down quite a bit. By Monday next week, we are seeing temperatures in the upper 20s, mid 20s in Montana and portions of the Dakotas, with temperatures cooling off into the low to mid 50s across California. A little bit warmer if you're in Texas and Florida, with temperatures there in the upper 60s to lower 70s. If you're in the New York and Great Lakes, you're going to be seeing temperatures flirting in the 40s. So again, you're going to want to dress up in layers depending on where you're at. Okay, that continues all the way into Tuesday. Much colder for Montana. Look at that nice, good old cold air mass comes in. You're going to see temperatures during the day only in the upper teens to lower 20s. Well, that is going to sum it up for today's video on your Thanksgiving forecast, with severe weather possible by next week. Again, we are keeping an eye on that forecast for day 7 as we get more details on that. We could see damaging winds, some minor hail, and maybe a tornado or two, but again, it is too far to say to iron out the exact details. All you need to be worried about right now is getting to your destination for Thanksgiving and going out for Black Friday shopping. Everybody's going to be out there doing it since we have had the inflation. That's going to do with this weather forecast. I am David Schlotthauer, and I will see you back here in a couple of days for more weather updates.